Kukalo, staff here at the Commanding General Staff at the Army War College, wrong school. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for this honor today. There are a million stories in this world, and the people who've ever heard me speak know that I know a few of them. And I got to tell you one this morning about beliefs. There were three ministers who were having a chat one day about some of the most memorable experiences that they'd had as ministers. And two of them said, well, you know, it was just the whole era of my time. I've just had a wonderful time and lots of memories, so I can't point out any single one. The third one said, I have a special memory. And my special memory is when I got baptized. I was in a creek in a country town, and the minister was into the immersion, and he dipped me 3 times. And the first time he dipped me, he held my head underwater for a bit, and when I came up, he said, do you believe? And he said, yes, Reverend, I believe. And he said, he went back and he did the same thing again. He said, but this time he held me a little longer. He said, and when he came up, he said, do you believe? And he said, yes, Reverend, I believe. He said, one more time now. And this time he held him for more than a pause. And when he came up the third time, he said, son, do you believe? He said, yes, sir, Reverend, but I believe you're trying to drown me. Our beliefs define very often our values because they deal very much with what we think is important as far as this life is concerned. When I came here to the War College, I did it by correspondence. That meant that I came for 2 years in residence during the summer and then went back to a full assignment after that time. The first year I was assigned in Europe as the chief nurse of the hospital and medical center at the Frankfurt Army Regional Medical Center. General Ron Blank knows that very well. And I was there as a chief nurse, and that particular year, and I'm telling you this for a reason because I'm going to talk about it a little bit more in a minute. That particular year, we had a problem in the world with being number 43 on the list of babies who died early in their lifetime because of poor care in the beginning. So I was ordered during that period of time to set up and establish the first neonatal intensive care unit in a European military hospital because President Reagan said we will indeed have those facilities there. And so you need to deal with them. So that's what I did my first year. The second year that I was in the War College program, I was in the United States Army Recruiting Command. And Denny Benshoff is here, and he knows a little bit about that. I was there as the chief nurse of Army Nurse Recruiting, and the commander at that time was an old soldier by the name of Max Thurman. And if you have not served with Max Thurman, I'm sure a number of folk in here have heard of Max Thurman. He said, he looked at me whenever I went to the recruiting command, and the first thing he said to me was, the nurse program is broken, fix it. And I said, yes, sir. That was the thing he said. And then the next thing he says, I see you're in that War College by correspondence. He said, you will graduate. I said, yes, sir, I will. And the thing that happened, though, during that time was he talked to me a lot about what was going on and what I was looking at in terms of dealing with the War College. He was very helpful in making sure that I got the time to do what it was that I needed out of the 22 hours that I put into recruiting. But being in this course, I learned 3 things, 3 values that I think was very important. And the first one was use the past and learn about the past to inform the present. there were three things that I had to deal with directly in this particular instance. And the first was that I had to come face to face with the fact that I was a part of a long list and a long line of undervalued survivors. I was a female, and as you look around in this room today, you can just about think about how many women we had in the class at that time. I can tell you it was a lot less than that. In my particular corresponding studies class, 254 students, and I was it. But I was a survivor, you see. I learned how to do that. The second thing that I had to learn in dealing with my past and bringing it into the present and dealing with it well was I had to deal with the fact that what other people thought of me was not my business. It was what I thought of me that was important. And I learned to deal with that, and I learned to deal with that very well. And that is one thing that helped me to survive this course. I found that no matter what opinion was being expressed at the time, mine was valuable enough to put on the table. And I put it on there many times, for various reasons. The third thing that I learned during that time was that I had to confront my nation's history and confront the fact that there were many, many things that we have done well as far as this world is concerned, but there were some other things that we hadn't done so well. And to be able to deal with those and to be able to understand that we accept what it is that we are about there and that we are not at all perfect, and then still look upon this nation as a great nation. A second value that I thought was important and that I thought was necessary to deal with is that business of using current events and learning the importance of current events. I still have some difficulty these days. Well, I don't have the difficulty, but my friends have the difficulty who's in the military these days, some of them my protégés and so forth, with understanding that I can tell them without even knowing what it is they're about that day, what it is that they're about. And I can do it because I read the newspaper and I listen to the news. And you can do that. If you keep track of current events, you can pretty much tell what a military or those who serve in defense are going to be about, because that's what's important as far as the nation is concerned, quite often. And the third and final value that I thought was important here is probably the most important, and that is learn, as General Treffy just said so very well, to value the relationships of the people with whom you are dealing. Those are relationships that you as leaders will cultivate and use for the rest of your life to be able to assist you in doing those things that you need to be able to do, not only for your nation, but to help other people as you deal more in the joint arena than you did when I was on active duty. And I think it's just a delightful thing that we all get together and solve problems these days. So to the class that is here, I hope that you'll learn something from what I learned here in this place. I do wish you well. This is a great school, and I had a marvelous time here, and I did graduate.